Hello. Hey, everyone. Welcome, 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 welcome. Let me know if you can hear me loud and clear. You might hear me a little too loud. Let me turn this down a little bit. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Thirsty Thursday. You know, this is usually our Real Housewives of Orange County recap, but you know, sometimes when I'm not really feeling a season and I know you guys want me to still talk about a show, I say I gotta make it worth my while. And by making it worth my while, I have to add a little bit of other things for us to talk about. And part of the reason why we even launched Thirsty Thursday was because Real Housewives of Salt Lake City was... And I'm not saying that for the Real Housewives of Orange County, however... It's okay. But you know, we're going to talk a little bit about that. The most recent episode, we're going to talk about some other news that have happened this week, including Monique Samuels from the Real Housewives of Potomac and Love and Marriage DC filed for divorce from her husband, Chris Samuels, of how many years were they married? I forgot. I got to look back. I have so many divorces and things that I'm covering, and I'm like, how many years were they married? I can't keep up. It's unimportant. They're getting divorced. Oh, I'm sorry. And I know right now some of you are probably like watching me on your phone, and you're also watching the whole Titanic submarine situation. Now they found debris at the Titanic crash site. I went down a rabbit hole because I really wasn't watching when all of you started watching when it first broke out, I think over the weekend or whatever. But I saw a story that said, you know, this morning would be the time that they would run out of oxygen if some other scenarios did not happen. It's crazy. And I see all your memes and all your jokes. I'm not joking on anyone's tragedy because that could be me one day. Not saying that I'm going to go in the submarine as a billionaire and risk my life. What I'm saying is that any tragedy, you know, what you find funny and what someone else finds funny is different. But that situation, yo, we so busy worried about what's in space. What's below us? Or technically, who knows if we're below them? Look, what is in the water? I did see a video. Look, sidebar. We're going to take a little sidebar and then we're going to get to a countdown. Let's get into a countdown, and now I'll tell you what I saw the other day. All right, let's get into a countdown, guys. Let me know where you're watching from. This is our Thirsty Thursday. We're going to talk about Real Housewives of Orange County. We're going to talk about Real Housewives of Potomac. We're going to talk about the Real Housewives of Atlanta ratings. We're going to talk about Faith Stowers' lawsuit, and you will have an opportunity to call in and share your thoughts. So let's get into Thirsty Thursday and get something to drink because I'm thirsty.
Baby, won't you listen to me? I got that flavor. I know you're dying to feed. I ain't no dancer, just got some hip in my feet. Now throw your hands up. Ooh, you bring the lighter. I got the fuse. You make a fire. I'll add the fuel. Follow my lead. Just watch your shoes. Gotta turn the heat up to get this cool.
Welcome back to the Kempire channel, your #1 source for pop culture news and music, entertainment, reality TV, and so much more. For those that might be confused, like what happened to the Real Housewives of Orange County recap? That is what today is. We're going to talk about the Real Housewives of Orange County and some other reality TV news. This is our Thirsty Thursday for the thirsty reality TV stars. As always, don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to subscribe. It is a subscribers only live chat. Shout out to our channel members. If you would like to become a channel member, head on over to teamkempire.com/join. And for everything Kempire, including our Pride merch, head on over to thekempire.com. And of course, thank you to our King's Guards. Don't forget to say hello to them for allowing us to have a fun conversation about a variety of different topics. So, I usually, when we do Tuesday Takeover, we start off with some good news. So for Thirsty Thursday, I think we should start off with some bad news. Oh, look. We were just talking about the whole Titanic submarine situation. Thank you, Mama Allie. I didn't even have to ask Mama Allie, and she knew. Thank you, Mama Allie. She just, timestamps are being done and will be available for the replay crew. Thank you. So before we went into the countdown, I told you, there have been all kinds of jokes and memes and things about this whole situation. But I had posted yesterday because we found out that if anything, they would run out of oxygen if other situations did not happen, because there are other possibilities that they could have been already passed on. But by their estimates, they would run out of oxygen this morning. You may have also seen a report that there was not evidence, but wreckage that was found. They were supposedly having a press conference as we speak. So I don't know the details of that, but that's not what this is about, because we all presume, and a lot of people presuming, that they're dead. Sidebar, they're offering $100 million for anyone to find them? Did someone just make that up so they can make a joke about it? I don't know. I haven't reached that far into the story. But like I said at the top of this, I get people in social media loves to have a lot of different jokes about everything. But look, these are people that are loved by someone, hopefully. You know what I mean? I'm just like, I'm not trying to make jokes about people's lives. If they had made it out safely and they were here, run with the jokes. Run with the jokes. There are people, mourning and upset and concerned. I mean, not the not that step kid. No, he's at Blink 182 concert. Here's the thing, Cardi. I'm not judging him. That's his stepdad. I don't know their relationship. We all have our, this is what you're supposed to do when, I mean, he had tickets. Did he have insurance on those tickets? I mean, look, I'm not going to judge. But the other stuff about the stepson, yeah, I'm sure you've seen it. I'm sure you've done a little digging. Those other things about the stepson is a whole other situation to talk about. See what happens when you... Here's the thing, too. Would we have even known that he went to Blink 182 if he didn't post about it? Because then he posted about it, and that's how come anyone knew? Y'all got to realize, y'all have to post everything. Anyways, rest in peace, because at this point, they're presumed dead. And I found out today, because I've been doing a little bit of a deep dive. When I say a deep dive, I haven't really gone into the nitty gritty of the situation. But I found out today that one of the people that's down there is 19 years old. April, exactly. People grieve differently. He got into a fight with Cardi B on social media. Then Cardi B got into a fight with... We'll talk about that separately. This is not the time for that. So I'm sorry. I'm sorry to the families. I will still continue to pray and send love to the families, because look, sidebar, in my deep dive of this whole situation, someone posted the history behind the billionaire that, the Oceangate owner and things like that. And they were talking about, he was making it seem like he was doing this for tourism. You can tour the Titanic in this submarine. Well, they're saying, he said in interviews, they literally have the article, that no, he really wanted to secure this sort of submarine so that he could sell it, so that they can continue to ruin our planet with the oil drilling and things like that. Oh, he had other big billionaire ideas, allegedly, I'll say, even though he said it in an interview. Anyways, Thirsty Thursday, we start off with some not so great news. But we'll end with even better news, okay? Look, I hope. All right. Yeah, and yes, Shar says he had a history. Didn't his wife ancestors were the couple that you see in the movie The Titanic that were in the bed when it was being submerged? Apparently the wife, that's like her ancestors. I don't know why anybody would want to go down and see the Titanic. I can understand wanting to go down and see underwater. I don't want to go see a Titanic. That's bad juju. Unless you go down there to go burn. Well, you can't burn nothing in the water, or drop a crystal. I'm not going down there. Anyways, moving on. Okay, moving on. All right, where do I want to begin? You know what? We can begin with the Real Housewives of Orange County episode, and then we will get into John Fuda, his interview with Bravo Bros. We'll talk about that. We'll also talk about some of these Instagram and social media accounts digging up information about who really got the information. Did I bring? Hold on, let me send that to myself, y'all. Now I've added more work to myself on Thursdays when I could just do a simple recap of the Real Housewives of New Jersey Island and give myself more work to do. I think I have it here. Hold on. I thought I had it on this phone. Do I have it on the other phone? I'll look it up. Hold on. I'll look this up when I'm done in a second. All right, so let's get into the Real Housewives of Orange County. Welcome to Thirsty Thursdays, guys. Don't forget to like the video. It's an easy and free way of supporting the channel. All right, let's talk about Real Housewives of Orange County. How would you rate this episode of the Real Housewives of Orange County? Matter of fact, let me do a little bit of a poll. I forgot to do a poll. Look, it's one of those days, y'all. Let me do a quick poll on our YouTube live chat. How would you rate this week's RHOC from 1 to 10? Let me just do this here. Let me do this here. All right, live chat, you'll be able to vote and let me know. This will give us an idea of how you would rate it. If I had to rate this particular episode, it was definitely better than episode 2. If you missed it, I was on She Speaks Bravo with Emily, and we talked about Real Housewives of Orange County. I said to Emily, I was like, do we really want to talk about Orange County's second episode? I really didn't love it. But we ended up having a really fun conversation. We made the episode really, really good. So if you missed my appearance on She Speaks Bravo, the podcast, and you can see the visual version on her YouTube channel, be sure to check that out. We talked about last week's episode of the Real Housewives of Orange County. But this week, I probably would rate this episode between like a 7 and 10. I probably would rate this episode 7.5, 8. I thought this was a far better episode. And although I had thought the whole Jen situation, the cheating situation was, oh, she's admitting she had a relationship. Oh, it's all clean. But apparently, maybe it wasn't all clean. Jen girl, were you hooking up with the man in the car? She denies it. She denies it in this episode. But what do you guys believe? Was she hooking up with Ryan in the core, and she got caught with the husband? I have to say, Heather Dubrow, I get why she's a housewife. I get why a lot of people do enjoy her. Her appearance or Watch What Happens Live, I was like, she's pretentious, but in a good way. And clearly, she wants to get back into acting. She wants to get back into acting again. So at the very top of this episode, Heather's with her family. The twins are getting ready for college. That's part of her storyline this season. What else did she say? Her daughter. How did you guys feel about the daughter talking about if you see some charges in regards to her staying at a hotel because the water pressure at the dorm where you get to pick out your layout and do whatever you want to the room? She said the water pressure is not great. So if you see, I think she was obviously being facetious, but I thought to myself, I was like, some people might not take your joke as a joke, little Nepo baby. I'm just saying. I think she was being funny, but at the same time, as I was watching it a second time, I was like, not that she would really do it, but not the water pressure. Water pressure makes a big difference. I'm just to let you know. I went to the Caribbean one time, and I wasn't in a hotel at one point, and the water pressure in the home was not great. And then when I went to an actual hotel during the same trip, I said, "Oh Lord, water pressure!" So I was triggered. I was triggered. See, Beate says water pressure is important. See, so part of me could relate, but then I was like, "Oh, this might not land well with viewers." Okay. Mocha says, don't know that life, but Max was funny. Yeah. Yeah. I got something in my eye. It feels like a spring, not even spring. It's pretty cold here in New York City. I don't know what it's like for you guys wherever you're watching from, but it's weird weather here in New York. We just celebrated, summer officially starting, and it doesn't feel like it. Anyways. All right. So Heather talks about the transition. They're going to start, they bought this apartment in LA. So apparently, because the kids are moving out, she sold her home. I watched her on Watch What Happens Live, and she talked about how they've never really stayed in a home too long. And this home that they have now, their dream home, well, not really her dream home, really, Dr. What's his name? Terry Dubrow. That it really was his dream home. And they stayed in this dream home for 6 years, and it's the longest they've ever stayed in a home. I can't imagine moving like that. But she says they like to buy property and, do it up and then sell it. And she made a pretty penny from this property. And now they have this new LA place. So apparently she wants to, go back to LA because that's where she was. And then she moved to Orange County. And now she's going to restart her acting career. Was she a good actress? Was she? I don't know. I mean, good for Heather. She really has taken this opportunity. I mean, she didn't need to do any work. She didn't need to work right now in her life. But she said she likes to work. Good for her. Good for her. I'm interested to see her act, though. Anyone else? I want to see this era. And I think she wants to just do it for fun. Why not? Why not? Anyways. So Jen and Tamara are at Cut Fitness. As you know, Cut Fitness, this is part of Tamara's storyline. Cut Fitness is closing after almost 10 years of being open. And of course, her husband, Eddie, is going through it. He doesn't know what he's going to do next. Tamara's a little sensitive about it because this was their business. It became really popular. We've already talked about this countless times. Even bigger gyms I know closed during the pandemic and have not reopened. So I'm not surprised that Cut Fitness did not make it through the pandemic. I'm surprised that I thought it would have been closed. But the fact that they're closing out and selling everything now, I'm like, oh. So it was still kind of kicking through. I wonder why. Can anyone from that area, why exactly do you think that Cut Fitness is closing? Is there not a need? People still need to work out. We're all open up again. And I'm sure Orange County was pretty open during the pandemic. Oh, no, California wasn't. So I wonder why. Was it not a good gym? It looks like it had all the things. Anyways. Kim, thank you so much for being a member. Happy anniversary. 17 months of being a member. She says, hi, everyone. Finally call alive. And we appreciate you being here. All right. So her and Tamara are catching up. She's selling everything in there. I don't know who's buying. Maybe other gyms are buying it, like smaller gyms. Who knows? Jen and Ryan, as you already know, met at Cut Fitness. And Tamara remembers them flirting there. But she thought it was just, Carrie Ann says, Ozempic and Peloton. Well, I have a Peloton, so you're not lying about that. But I still have a gym membership. Y'all are a mess with the Ozempic. So that's where Jen and Ryan met. That's where they were flirting. All right. So Tamara's planning a big goodbye party, and she's inviting everyone. This is when Jen reminds Tamara of all the terrible things that, hold on, y'all, let me take this off. Because if I don't turn off my notification, it gets so distracting on my arm. Let me just turn this off. Sorry. All right. So Jen reminds Tamara of all the terrible things that she said during the, Gina's party, but Gina wasn't there. So she reminds her of all the terrible things that she said to Shannon. And she said it was pretty bad. You were talking about screwing a duck and that and da. You all know. You all remember all the things that Tamara said. And based off the flashbacks, based off what I've seen of Tamara on social media, sidebar, Tamara, since this is Thirsty Thursday, she randomly posted about a blogger. Let me see. Is it still there? Because she randomly posted this email from a blogger from over a year ago. I read what the blogger said to her, and I'm gonna read it to you guys too. Hold on, let me just bring it up because this is Thirsty Thursday, and this feels a little thirsty of Tamra Judge. So she posts this email. Hold on, let me just bring it up for you so you guys can see what I'm looking at. Because it doesn't make any sense to me why she would post this now. But who knows? Maybe something is happening behind the scenes that we don't know about. And that's the reason why she's posting it. Hold on, let me just post this and what she said. Hold on, y'all. This is a live show. So, you know, I'm working as I'm doing it. Okay. So let me show you exactly what she posted. So she posted this email. It's about a year ago that this blogger, Blonde Hair Black Soul, is that what it says? Hold on. I know I've seen this name before. No, Black Heart. Okay. So she posted this on her social media today. I saw it earlier and I was just like, what is happening here? Why are you posting this right now? And I said, let me read exactly why she's posting. I said, maybe the apology was like weird. So this blogger writes her an apology letter and says, "Hi, Tamra. I wanted to apologize for hurting you with what I said on my podcast. I never intended for what I said to offend you the way it did. I stupidly thought I was being funny and making fun of a situation." And Tamra highlights this part. "And of course, trying to drive traffic to my show. Kind of like you, Tamra. You in the Nat? After speaking with my husband, who is much wiser than I am, and some friends about it and reflecting on how my words obviously affected you, I've realized that hurting others is absolutely not what I want my podcast to be about. And knowing that I did that to you doesn't make me feel good. I promise to not speak about you in any personal capacity on my show again. And whether or not you decide you want to speak to me again or not, I hope you accept my apology and know that I'm sincere." So she reposts this and she captions it and she ats him and says, "I've done nothing to you. Please leave me alone. Thank you. #obsessed." Look, I don't know what the blogger originally said on their podcast about Tamra, but this seems like a sincere apology. You know, these housewives don't know a thing about apologizing. So maybe she was confused. She didn't realize that this was a sincere apology. But I randomly saw it because, you know, I don't follow Tamra. So I randomly saw this and I was just like, and I read it and I was like, they seem sincere. And then for her to say, "I've done nothing to you. Please leave me alone. Thank you." You look at the top. It says March 3rd of 2022, over a year ago. I'm confused. I didn't hear the podcast. Did he talk about your husband? What did he do? Did he sleep with? You know, maybe it's just he did something that was so unforgivable. Look, I don't know. Tamra, I just saw that, but you decided to post it on your public page. So we're going to talk about it since we're talking about the Real Housewives of Orange County. Hey, Ronnie. Ronnie says, "Tamra sometimes feels like she's reacting extra for the camera." Here's the thing. I feel like that is just who Tamra is, and it makes me wonder why you guys even wanted her back. I wouldn't want someone that just pushes it on for camera. I was talking about this with Emily on She Speaks Bravo, and I was just like, because she was saying that, you know, Tamra doesn't drink, but when she's on the show, she drinks, and then she turns up. So she's already not being who she really is in real life. She doesn't drink. So when I saw that, I was like, "Oh, sounds about Tamra." Anyways, I wanted to mention that to you since it is Thirsty Thursday because I felt that was pretty thirsty of her to even post. Okay? So she's planning this goodbye party. Jen reminds her of all the terrible things that she said to Shannon. And Tamra's like, "Oh my God, I am mortified." I don't know if she was really mortified. She was definitely drunk though. And she says that she barely ate that day. Then she talks about how she feels like Jen put her in an uncomfortable position because when she found out about Jen's affair with Ryan is the one who came to Tamra with it. So she said First of all, I'm friends with you. Why wouldn't you come to me and tell me? What do you guys believe? Do you think that Jen really did have a physical affair? Look, some people will say, oh, emotional affair is worse than a physical affair, but she's denying a physical affair and she's owning up to an emotional affair. I have a tendency to believe her. Because at this point, why would it even matter? Would it even matter? You already admitted that it is an affair. It doesn't matter if it was physical or emotional at this point. You're admitted to an emotional affair. But maybe Tamara knows more, or is she just stirring the pot and she doesn't show loyalty to any friends? But Jen is the right one. Jen was ready to get turned up on her at the end of this episode. All right, Gina. Oh, woo, 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 Gina. Woo, woo, woo. Why is Gina here? Look, I was okay with Gina last season, but I clearly see what Gina is doing this season. Gina is working overtime to keep her orange because all of you keep saying, and there were rumors even before the season began that she wasn't returning. But here she is. She's back. And of course, producers are in her ear. You better show up. So apparently her and her booski, they're not even engaged, right? Her booski are working on getting their real estate license. So they're studying for that. I mean, she better. Girl, I hope you got it. Because I really don't see her making it to a next season. I'm surprised she's made it this far. But like I've said before, the reason why I didn't mind Gina being on the show was because I like her genuine friendship with Emily. But a lot of you do not like Gina. And I see why this season. Last season, I saw why last season. However, like I said, I like her genuine friendship with Emily. I like their banter. But this season, I'm really seeing that she's working overtime because she's just like, I need to keep my orange. I don't know, though. You think she's going to keep it next season? I think a lot of you are surprised she's kept it this long. So she's prepping for that. She then brings up Jen's affair because she's triggered by it because, her man cheated on her, Matt. So she says she's uncomfortable. Do you think she's really uncomfortable? Look, in real life, I could see someone that has been cheated on would be uncomfortable hanging out with someone that is a glorified cheater. I don't feel like she's that uncomfortable. I'm sure she has sat at tables with a bunch of other cheaters. Why would she be so uncomfortable, so bothered? Again, I feel like she's just there to find her relevance in the whole situation. I don't think she's that uncomfortable or triggered by Jen's affair, even though she had been cheated on while she was, had a newborn. Is the new woman that he's with the one he had affair on? Someone give me the cliff notes. Look, someone give me the cliff notes. Is the new woman that Matt is with, is that the woman? Is that the other woman? Nora says, these women are so triggered. Geesh. Obi says, Gina was okay when she was casted. Then it took a real nasty turn. The clear social climbing and thirsty. So she's perfect for Thirsty Thursday. Thirsty vibes for me. Wow. Tria says that she's trying so hard to find a storyline. Yeah. Nia says, I'm so over Gina. She stay reaching. Speaking of voice changes, Christina says Gina voice changes when she talks to Heather. More Valley girl. Here's the thing. As they're doing flashbacks of Shannon, I'm like, Shannon's voice has changed. Anyone else notice that? Shannon's voice has changed. Is there a reason? Maybe there was a surgery, a throat surgery, and I missed that. Was there something that happened? Did she start smoking? Her voice is very different. BY says, OC is a good change than the toxic Real Housewives of New Jersey and VPR. You have a good point. But at the same time, I'm like, it's a change, and I do like Jen and Ryan as the newbies. Some of the other stuff that's happening, Tamra, so far it's not giving what I thought it was going to give. But I do enjoy Heather this season. And apparently Heather is going to have a tough season with all of the ladies. Ronnie says that, to be honest, most of them are thirsty. This is true. This is why it's called Thirsty Thursday. Everybody we're talking about is thirsty in some way, including me right now. Some lemon water. Oh, Ariana says her voice changed when she gained weight. Is that what it is? I don't know. It seems very dramatic, though. It seems very dramatic. Speaking of Shannon, so Shannon and John go crystal shopping, and you know I love a good crystal. Come on now. Y'all know I love a good crystal. I got some pyrite here. I got some black tourmaline for all you people trying to send me bad energy, bad juju. You know I love a good crystal, so I was like, ooh, I was like, we're in a crystal shop. That lady at the crystal shop, was she high? Maybe she was microdosing. And then Shannon, you know, between her microdosing and Shannon just being kooky, that interaction was interesting, especially if you watch the Peacock version that has the never before scenes. It gets even kookier. But before we even get to that, why didn't John just, before he pulled in, let Shannon out? He had poor Shannon. This tells you a lot about a person. He let poor Shannon have to hop over to get into his seat so she could get out the car. He is not a gentleman. Shannon, don't go back to him. Don't go back to him. Jasmine says, I thought of you, Kempire, during the crystal shop scene. You know I was getting my life. I'm like this looking shopping. I didn't realize that Shannon has crystals in her teeth. She has crystals. I don't know if it's the same home, but her other home or whatever home it was, she put crystals in the ground. That's a woman after my own heart. I agree with all the things. I don't know about the teeth part. I don't think I would want to even mess with my teeth to put crystals in there. I much rather wear them, put them in my pocket. I don't need them in my head. I don't need that. I thought that was interesting. But John, before you pull in, let her out and then pull in. He don't want to mess up his car. He didn't want to mess up his car. Deborah says, I said the same thing about John Kempire. That stood out to me even the second time watching it. Miss Fancy Pants, I love this. Thank you for the super chat. Miss Fancy Pants says, Tamara and Vicky are so overproduced. It gives Three Stooges. Oh. I have to say, though, I didn't feel like Tamara and Vicky on Ultimate Girls Trip felt overproduced. I have to say, they felt, at least what I know of them, they didn't feel overproduced. But I do feel as if they're being overproduced now. At least Tamara. Thank you for the super chat, Miss Fancy Pants. And I love the name. Ariana, thank you so much for the super chat. Ariana says that crystal lady has way more to say when they started talking about their signs. First of all, John is a Scorpio. Did what sign is Shannon? I know she says she's a fire sign. Is she Sagittarius? John is never going to get married. Sorry, Scorpios. So she says she's open to marriage again. She's been with John for 3 years. We already know that they've broken up. After filming ended, they ended up breaking up. Ronnie, yes, Vicky is going to make an appearance this season. I don't know how much. I know recently she posted that she was doing confessionals. So I don't know how much Vicky shows up this season, but she does show up this season. And she's not even an official friend of. So I guess she's just doing a guest spot. Sidebar, Vicky Gunvalson on a new podcast commented on the whole VPR situation. And she says she feels like it was all created. She doesn't believe it. I was like, oh. Oh, Shannon's an Aries? Of course. There's so many Aries women that are part of the Real Housewives franchise. And a bunch of Tauruses, too. A bunch of Tauruses. Anyways. So they're in the crystal shop. They're looking at the crystals. Shannon's having an awkward interaction with this store manager, talking about signs and crystals and things like that. And then she gets a FaceTime from Tamara. Tamara, every time she starts talking to Shannon, she starts weeping, which makes me go like, okay, girl, you're just putting on for the camera. You're putting on just so someone will feel sorry for you. You can save those tears. She's like, I just really want to apologize. Okay, girl, just apologize. And look, my thing is you could apologize till you're blue in the face. However, for me, the better apology is changed action. I don't care about your words. Show me in your action that you've changed. And I feel like she's not going to change. Yeah. So she FaceTimes Tamara to apologize. She's crying. Whoa, whoa, whoa. But Shannon says she wants an apology, not just for this incident on the boat. She wants an apology for the last 2.5 years. She says that later when she sees Tamara again at Tamara's party. All right. So Emily, last season she opened up about her family issues and things like that. So she's hanging out with Shane's family and her kids, and she's again struggling because Shane is now working because they lowered the bar so that he could pass the bar in California, which is one of the, if not the hardest bar to take. I know I have a history of working in law, so it's one of the hardest, if not the hardest, to pass. So I wasn't judging poor Shane last season, but they did lower the bar, and he's passed, and now he's working, and he's busy. He has no time for Emily. So Emily is talking about her relationship with her mom, how she grew up with her mom, and that she wants a deeper relationship with her mom. And she was talking previously with Shane, like, how can we do this? He's like, well, maybe I'll send her a picture of the kids. And then here's the thing, Emily. I think, and we talked about this with Mia. Remember Mia from Real Housewives of Potomac? We talked about this with Mia, and I was telling you guys that I feel like you have to meet your parents as adults, as opposed to what you want them to be. They're not going to be your mom or the mom that you see on television. They're never going to be that. So meet them as in the space that they are now, and maybe you can have a friendship versus a mother-daughter relationship. But I appreciate the vulnerability of Emily. But also appreciate, Emily, the relationship that you have with Shane's mom. And it's different, but maybe you can get what you have always wanted from your mom from her. Sometimes we have those people in our lives, and we want it from somewhere else. We want it from the obvious place. Like, oh, I want that love from my mom or my dad. When you have these people that are very much parental in your life. And I'm not saying that's what's happening with Shane's parents, but it feels like if you're going to Shane's parents and talking about this, you're very comfortable with them. Good question. Someone told me that she did. Did Kim Kardashian pass the California bar yet? Is she an attorney? Like, Hey, Sharon. Thank you so much for the super chat. Sharon says, I watched because the baseball game was over. Cardinals lost. Sharon always gives us the sports update. I didn't even know the Cardinals were playing. But thank you, Sharon. Thank you for the super chat. A mess. Okay. IB says, facts. I've been struggling with that. The mom I want will never be. And I think you cause yourself stress over trying to make your parents be something that they're never going to be in your life. And that's okay for you to meet them as in a different way as you're older, in my humble opinion. Okay, she passed the baby bar, but she didn't pass the big bar because she has to take that next, right? The baby bar is pretty hard too, though. Kara says she ain't my attorney. She's not going to be my attorney. Not the actual bar. She passed the baby bar. Okay. Because you remember she was studying for that. I only keep up on these people through like the news. I don't watch that show. I tried getting into their new thing, but I was like, I can't. I can't. Especially because they've been caught out there lying about timelines and things like that. So I'm like, no, I'm good. I can watch something scripted. Like And Just Like That. Don't forget our recaps of And Just Like That start tomorrow. Stay tuned. I'm going to watch it tonight and then rewatch it again and then probably rewatch it again. So stay tuned for that. Okay? All right. So Emily talks about that and Taylor. So Taylor and Heather meet up with an acting coach. All right? Lauren, right? The acting coach. But before the acting coach arrives, Taylor says, remember I mentioned to you that there's a part for you in this movie as well for Heather. And Heather was drunk and microdosing at the party. So when Taylor brought it up to her later, she was like, what? What are you talking about? She's like, remember? This is where you're going to be. This is going to be your office. And look, this is what I respect about Heather. She's the ultimate professional. She's like, no, this is not how that works. Someone needs to reach out, a director, an acting, casting director. This one to speak to agents. We got to talk about how much am I going to make? Look, Taylor got a little bit of a nepotism role, okay? So Heather's just like, no, girl, no. I'm an actual actress. They need to reach out. We need to figure out the budget. Is it worth my time? What is my writer? I appreciate that about Heather. Okay. So the acting coach comes in, and again, Heather in these, she's like, oh, so what have you been in? And she says, like, and this acting coach was very interesting. She's like, I was the fabulous one in the yellow dress. I was thinking to myself. So they do a read of this role that Taylor's going to be in, because Taylor is now an actress. All right. But at least she's trying. You know, some people say that they're going to be an actor. Sidebar. Did you guys see the Keisha Cole movie yet? I haven't watched it yet. But I did speak to people that have watched it. And they said Keisha Cole's acting is not great. I don't know if she worked with this is why I'm blocked by Keisha Cole on Twitter. Okay. I mean, she can't handle the truth. I hear it's bad. But I haven't seen it, so look, I don't know. But I don't know if she worked with an acting person, like an acting coach. I mean, I know actors that still work with acting coaches. I know vocalists that still work with vocal coaches. Like, you should always be trying to improve your craft. So Taylor, good job on getting an acting coach and enlisting someone that's an actor to help you. But when she talked about blowjobs helping warm up your voice, first of all, I'm a professionally trained singer. Okay? I ain't never heard that. And I'm gay. So you already know. Okay, this is not Kempire After Dark. That is not warming up your voice. Don't do it. Don't listen to her. I don't know where she heard that. Don't do it. Don't feel like you got to go do that in order for you to warm up your voice. That is not going to warm up your voice. Actually, it might hurt your voice, depending on what you love on. Justice, shut up. Justice said, hold on. Justice said, I need to know more about the Kempire Blocked Hall of Fame. Look, I'm not blocked by a lot of people. So I make a joke about it. However, I could be blocked by people. I don't follow some of these people, so I don't know if I'm blocked. Just say it. Anyways, so the BJ situation, don't do that. You don't need to do that. There's so many other vocal exercises that you can do to warm up your voice. BJs are not the thing. When she said that, I was like, if you are to do one, there is probably a technique in order to do it. I don't suggest don't do that. No. That's what stood out to me in regards to that scene. And Heather agreed. Heather was like, I heard about all these other warm-ups. I ain't never heard about the BJ warm-up. Forever T says, that adds extra mucus to your throat. And this is part of the reason, especially for singers, why you should avoid any sort of dairy. I don't know if that is considered dairy.
Fuck your flowers.
All right. So the Tamara's Cut Fitness, guys, if you're just joining us, this is our Thirsty Thursdays. We're talking about the Real Housewives of Orange County. We are going to get into some John Fuda conversation. We're going to talk about Faith Stowers, her apparent lawsuit that she's working on. What else do we got to talk about? So many things that we need to talk about. I don't remember. I have a list. Okay. So anyways, back to this. So in this final scene, Tamara's Cut Fitness event, Taylor's new husband's there. I'm just happy for Taylor because we all know what happened with Taylor's first husband. I'm just happy she's in a better place. She's doing okay. All right. Gina, she meets Ryan, Jen's man, and she's like, I'm not impressed. And I'm looking at Gina like, she thought he'd be taller. I'm looking at Gina like, you were just working overtime to be relevant on this show. And I'm thinking to myself, you're not impressed? And then I look at her man, and then I look at Ryan. And look, I'm not saying that Ryan is, anything to write home about. But when I look at Gina's man, and then I look at Ryan, Gina, have several seats, please. Have several seats. She says the way that people were talking about it, and she was expecting more. Really? What were you expecting, Gina? He's definitely more than your man. I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry, Travis. Sorry, Travis. Woo, 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 Travis. Mia, I did see. When did I see? I saw something about her daughter. Her daughter is doing well. Her daughter is doing well. Taylor's daughter, for those that are watching on TikTok. Okay. So, Tamra's son. You all told me about Tamra's son last week. And Tamra's son was at this event. All right? And apparently Tamra's son, he's working on a ranch. She's saying he's doing pretty well for himself. Let me bring up a picture of Tamra's son because we just talked about Tamra's son last week, and a lot of you say we don't need to see Tamra's son. Tamra's son can stay wherever he's been. Tamra's son can stay right there. So he's at this event. He's working on a ranch. So after this happened, a lot of people were reminding us of Tamra's son's history. So our friends over at Reality T wrote this article back in 2021 about Tamra's son, Ryan. Okay, all the Ryans. They don't have any other names in the OC. So our friends over at Reality T wrote this. After many fans complained about Tamra Judge's pot-stirring actions, we all saw how boring Real Housewives of Orange County can be without her. Then again, it's not as if the current cast is the best group ever, regardless. While there are mixed opinions on Tamra, one thing many fans can agree on is that we didn't miss her oldest son, Ryan. He's far from being one of the beloved Real Housewives offsprings a la Gia, really? Brianna, and Ace. Oh, no, well, Ace is, yeah. That's the only one I can say. Okay. So Ryan, at the time, went on Instagram stories rant that was just awful, but sadly not surprising given the source. Ryan posted, "Who else is sick of hearing about gay trans people or how racist white people are towards black people or Asians now?" So they write, is Ryan not the epitome of white privilege? Ryan continued, he said, "Shut the F up already. No one cares who you're effing or the color of your effing skin. Stop trying to be victims." This one said that. Tamra's son. All right? We're talking about Thirsty Thursday, so we're going to talk about the thirst that's here. So Reality T continues. They said, Ryan continued to demonstrate his lack of compassion. He admitted, "I laugh when people and businesses bend over backwards for, quote, these people. Why would we not try to support anyone who needs it?" According to Reality T. The rant, Ryan's rant, Tamra's son, continued and concluded by saying, you all want to be equal, but then special at the same time. Get the F out of here with your BS. And they still have the Instagram story. So there is proof of his ignorance. Just wanted to remind you just a little history. I just want to remind you a little Orange County history. We have to talk about another offspring, Ramona's, in a second. We will get there in a second. Right now, we're talking about the Real Housewives of Orange County. All right? All right. So at the Cut Fitness situation, we see Tamra's son. We don't care. All right? Tamra sees Shannon and apologizes, and she's hugging on her. She's like, "I'm so sorry. No, I'm really sorry." And Shannon's just like, "Well, you're sorry for this particular incident, but I need an apology for the last 2.5 years." All right. Hold on. Let me just, I like this. Hold on. Heather Rose, leftover sushi. What a name. Funny that a victim rant is coming from Ryan, who has played like he's a victim his whole life to get away with his acting out shenanigans. See, this is why we need you guys that have the history of watching the show to chime in. Ooh, Candace says Ryan reflects the majority of the OC. I've heard. At the end, we will get to Ramona's child in a second, since we're talking about privilege. But let me finish off our Real Housewives of Orange County conversation. So Shannon wants an apology for the last 2.5 years from Tamara. I don't think she's going to get that, but here we are. Tamara is all over Shannon at this party. So Gina, as I said to you before at the top of this, she's working overtime this season. She's working overtime in order to secure her spot. So she brings up Jen's post. So Jen posted some sort of like TikTok trend where you're just happy and celebrating that your business is still open, because a lot of businesses closed during the pandemic. Do I think it was the best timing for Jen to post this? Probably not, when your friend is closing something. But at the same time, if this is going to garner, you have to be business minded to think the way that we're talking about. If this is going to garner, social media is very important for all businesses. Doesn't matter what business you're in, social media is important. If this could be the one video that garners a huge following for your business. At the end of the day, she should know Jen's intentions, Tamara. But Gina brings it up. She's like, did you see the post that Jen posted? She says this to Heather, and Heather was like, yeah, well, maybe we should not bring that up. And Jen and Gina brings it up later on. Anyway, she's like, I can't help it. Really? So she brings it up at the table, and Tamara didn't even see it. Tamara probably would have never seen it, and then it wouldn't have been a thing. But again, we're producing a reality show. A producer was in her ear. Bring it up. You want to secure your job? Bring it up. But Jen can see, like, she's like, Tamara, you know that's not my intention. She gets a little snippy with Tamara, because she's like, you know I wouldn't do something like that. Was timing off? Yeah. Did you guys notice, if you watch the Peacock version, they showed the never before scenes. One of those never before scenes, there was quite a few never before scenes for Orange County. Emily took off her panties in the middle of this party because it was so hot in the area where they were having the party, and then put it in her purse. Just an Emily moment, okay? We have another one that ends this episode for me that was my favorite. But Tamara's beef with Jen doesn't end with that conversation. Jen is just like, that wasn't my intention. Was it the best timing? No, it wasn't. However, I don't think that Jen was trying to shade or try to kick her friend while her friend is down. She still has to run her business. It's not like she specifically was being shady in what she said. But Tamara, like, if Tamara was to do it, I'd probably be like, well, what was her intention? Because Tamara has a thing about her that's a little messy. All right? Emily's being a little messy. And I don't know if you guys saw this in your particular episode, but if you've seen the never before scenes, Emily also is working for that check this season. She's trying to keep her orange as well. Because she brings up to Jen, did you intentionally have your husband or have your family give your husband a job out of state so you can have your affair with Ryan? Jen's like, no, I did not do that. And she also says that her relationship with Ryan wasn't physical. It was only an emotional affair. And some of you say that's worse. But Tamara believes that it was a physical affair. And she whispers to Jen, just be honest. Just be honest. And Jen's like, I am being honest. Who do you believe? Like, I based off what I know of Tamara, I don't believe Tamara. I feel like she is an ish starter. However, I also think that Jen, she adopts puppies and cats and children. I don't think she's going to lie to us. I'd hope not. But for me, she has more credibility than Tamara. Oh, you got a good point. Sharon says that Emily drinks water after dog. Well, that says a lot. B says that Emily has been messy. Well, she's definitely being messy here. Okay, and I appreciate that. But that's when they talk about Jen and Ryan in the car, and the husband caught her in the car with the man. But she says it's not like he caught us in the car having sex. That didn't happen. Can I talk to the husband? Do you guys think that they were having sex in the car? Maybe they were kissing in the car. You don't have to have sex in a car to be cheating. But Jen says it was an emotional affair. Kara says that I think an emotional affair is worse, but honestly, at least Jen is owning her affair. Yeah, so I'm just like, why wouldn't she own the physical if she already is owning an affair? And a lot of people feel like an emotional affair is worse. Just asking. Anyway, so they're celebrating the end of Cut Fitness. They have a whole cake. They're pulling apart this cake. Tamara throws cake at Eddie. Sidebar, Eddie did give a nice little speech celebrating the end of this, chapter. Like I said, 10 hard years, they did well for themselves. And any entrepreneur knows the fact that they even had 10 years is a big deal. And a lot of entrepreneurs start businesses, end businesses, start businesses, end businesses. It happens all the time. It's something you hate to hear, but it's the truth. So they're cutting this. Well, they're not cutting the cake. They're pulling apart this cake and throwing it at each other. And then Emily's like, don't waste it. I was like, she is so my spirit animal. I said this on Twitter last night. She retweeted it. She is my spirit animal. I really appreciated her in that minute because I'm like, okay, if you're going to throw a piece of it, save the rest. I love a cake. And then she starts throwing the cake. Tamara starts throwing the cake at Emily. She's like, don't waste it. But even though the cake was on Emily was like, no, eating it. Yeah, Paris says that Eddie's speech was great. Kia says, listen, more than kissing went on in that car. So that's what you believe. So that's what you believe. I don't know. All right, can we move on? Let's move on because I have a lot more to cover. This is becoming long like our Tuesday takeover. I don't know if I can keep up with this on Thursdays, y'all. All right, so I did mention to you, we talked about Tamara's son, Ryan. I did want to mention to you Avery Singer. You know Avery Singer from the Real Housewives of New York? Well, she claims in a new interview with our friends over at Behind the Velvet Rope that she can't get jobs in the finance world because of being on the Real Housewives of New York. Avery, because we were just talking about the Real Housewives of New Jersey. We were talking about Frankie Jr., and he has a job in finance, I believe. All right. So I was just like, really, Avery, is that really the reason why you do not have a job in finance? Well, now she's launched her own company. Hold on, y'all. Let me just move this. Hold on. I want to move this up. There we go. So she started her own sort of, I'll get into what she started. So this is what Page Six writes. They said, Ramona Singer's daughter, Avery Singer, claims she can't get a job in finance because of her time on the Real Housewives of New York. And fans were not happy. People reacted on social media about her complaining. So she said this to our friends over at Behind the Velvet Rope. I have taken a backseat from the show for an extremely long time because I worked at Morgan Stanley. Like most of my finance career, I couldn't get jobs because of me being associated with the TV show. In fact, Avery went on to criticize the Bravo kids who use their parents' fame for their own benefit. She says there are many Bravo kids that ride their mom's coattails that are like a wannabe Kylie Jenner, all duck-faced posting. Are you talking about Brielle? Okay. The former reality star wanted to distance herself from the rest of the housewives so badly that she refuses to watch any of the shows airing on Bravo these days. She says, I don't watch Bravo, period. I've never seen a lot of the shows. She told Behind the Velvet Rope, I'm now starting a company and I did most of that by myself. So she started this, I guess it's called Bach Boss, a luxury party planning concierge business. Doesn't she have a new podcast with Ramona where Ramona is talking about being on the show? Well, of course, social media were blasting her, saying that she used this platform to promote her new business. Okay. So one person wrote, I believe on Reddit, they said, it's rich that she's hating on Bravo when she went on Watch What Happens Live to shill her boss babe Bach party business. Another one added, I doubt the average employer would even know who Ramona Singer is, let alone her daughter. Do I think that reality TV can affect some of the housewives specifically and their family? Yeah. However, I don't feel like that's hurt that's going to hurt you if you have the qualifications. Maybe Avery expected more doors to be open for her, the privilege of it all. But if you have the skill set, Avery, you weren't a primary person on the show. Yes, you were on there for when you were a little girl, but you weren't you weren't this problematic figure where I would feel like people would hold that against you if you have the qualifications. I think she's using that as an excuse as to why she didn't get certain jobs. Because I'm sure none of them said, oh, well, we can't hire you because you're on the Real Housewives of New York. They're probably like, oh, we decided to move with another person. Probably because that other person had more of a skill set and probably were more impressive. Avery? Whoa, whoa, whoa. Just saying. So because I wanted to talk about that because it is Thirsty Thursdays and she was pretty thirsty using the platform any way that she could before, but now all of a sudden she's saying that held her back from blame your mama. Don't blame Bravo. You can blame Bravo for other things. Speaking of blaming Bravo, let's talk about Faith Stowers from the Vanderpump Rules show. Okay. Faith, as you know, I did a separate video yesterday talking about Faith Stowers. You know, she was on Vanderpump Rules. You know, we've been recapping and talking about Vanderpump Rules. You know, last week we were talking about these folks. Well, Faith has launched a GoFundMe, and she's raised almost $7,000 of the $20,000 that she needs. She's trying to raise money so that she can sue Stassi Schroeder. So, for those of you who don't know the history, Stassi and Kristen Dowdy called the Popo on Faith because they were basing this off of a rumor that they heard, and they felt like the person that they had heard about was Faith. So they called the police on this black woman. All right? They apologized. However, according to Faith's GoFundMe, she says that she says that Stassi mentions this same rumor in her latest book. So she's trying to raise money so that she can sue Stassi to have it removed. She says this. She says, I'm seeking assistance with my legal team to get this book removed and all royalties funds collected from this book be given to charity or assisting a family of choice. So she feels as if Stassi is still perpetuating this rumor in her books. However, you know, we follow a few different Bravo reality TV attorneys, and this book was released in April of 2022. And as she's suing for defamation, she missed the cutoff for filing a lawsuit because this is a GoFundMe. She didn't even file a lawsuit yet. Oh, Faith. Woo, woo, woo. Damn it. Why'd you wait so long? She didn't have the funds. Casey says they thought a robbery suspect looked like Faith and called the police on her. They had no legitimate information besides, oh, she looks like Faith. They had no legitimate information in regards to calling the police on Faith Stowers besides her looking like the person. Just saying. Again, guys, you will have an opportunity to call in and share your thoughts on anything that we're talking about, including the Real Housewives of Orange County. We just talked a little bit about Ramona Singer's daughter. Speaking of Ramona, I did listen to a quick little thing that Bethany wrote. We talked about this on Tuesday Takeover. There was a rumor, is Bethany going to be a part of Ultimate Girls Trip, the RHONY Legacy one, return to Scary Island? Well, Bethany said on her podcast that that's not true. She definitely is not. She said she kept quiet for a little bit, but she says, I'm definitely not in St. Bart's. I did not film with them. We did report to you that the ladies that are there, all right, let me show you the link. The ladies that are there, they're all making $250,000 for this week. So good for them. But apparently, any hopes of Bethany returning, yeah, they would have to be, Bethany would probably have to make everyone's salary and more in order for her to come for a week. That would have been a nice little money grab, though, for Bethany. I'm sure they probably reached out. She didn't talk about them reaching out, but she did say she saw all of the citizen journalists. I guess we're journalists now. Citizen journalists talking about this, and she said she's like, no. She's like, I'm not there. I did not go. All right. So there goes that. Any hopes that you guys had of Bethany returning for Ultimate Girls Trip RHONY Legacy? It's not happening. Exact Justice says, it's not Scary Island without her. Go to sleep. I know. And here's the thing, too. You can't have a return to Scary Island without Bethany and talk about Kelly Ben Simone. She's just going to give her version of it all. And I think she's still very delusional. So it's sort of like, and Bethany even said this, too. She's like, she knows that they're going to be talking about her. And now that's going to be a whole narrative. And she's not even getting paid for this whole narrative that she's going to have to probably respond to and react to. Jess says that Bethany would not film with Kelly Ben Simone. Yes, she would. For the right price, she would. She never said that she wouldn't. She never said that she wouldn't. So, yeah. So Bethany will not be on Scary Island. Okay? All right. Before we get into John Fuda, let's talk about these Bravo ratings. And shout out to our friends over at TV Deets. We always cite our sources. So, we always go to TV Deets when we want to see the TV ratings. Of course, we can get this on our own if you go to Nielsen, blah, blah, blah. Anyways. But a lot of people were reacting when I posted the TV ratings of Love and Marriage Huntsville this week. So Love and Marriage Huntsville's ratings for this week was somewhere, hold on, where was it? Oh, it was a 0.05 demo for people between 18 and 49 and had 276,000 viewers. So I retweeted this, and a few people retweeted this because, Carlos has been talking about the Housewives on his podcast. And a lot of you have been saying he needs to worry about his show over there instead of worrying about what's happening with Real Housewives of Atlanta. So I reposted this, and I was like, what did I say? I forgot what I said. But I basically was like, I'm just going to leave this here since we want to talk about facts, because that's one of the things that he said. I deal in facts. Well, let's deal with the facts of what's going on over here. So I also want to make it very clear. Look, we understand that Bravo is different than OWN. And when I say that they're different networks, but they're also different tiers when it comes to cable too. Bravo, as our friends over at TV Deets, I'll read from them directly because they explain it a lot better than I'm about to. So they write this. They said, this week's episode of Love and Marriage Huntsville earned a 0.05 in the 18 to 49 demo and 276,000 live viewers and ratings, a low number for both season 6 and OWN series overall, and the OWN series overall. So this is pretty low for their series overall. Okay. Maybe, so a few people are tweeting and reacting to this, including myself. Okay. Then they said, in regards to this, they said, hold on. According to a 2015 count, OWN is available in about 81.9 million paid television households and about 70.3% of all households with a TV in the United States. Bravo, on the other hand, is available in almost 89.8 million television households, or about 77% of all households with TV in the U.S., according to a 2016 count. There is a difference. Bravo has more percentage in households, but not by much. Not by much. So While these numbers are not that far apart from each other, they write, Bravo is a basic cable channel, meaning it's not included in most cable, meaning it is included in most cable packages, whereas OWN is an add-on, meaning those viewers are already paying a premium to watch Love and Marriage Huntsville. Because of this, OWN numbers are expected to be lower than Bravo on average. All right. That being said, there is some truth to the fact that ratings are down for Love and Marriage Huntsville, though. As previously reported by TV Deeds, Love and Marriage Huntsville Season 6 premiere earned a .06 in the all-important demo of 18 to 49 with 288,000 live viewers back in April of 2023. Almost half the audience size of Season 5 debut, which was a .11 demo and 495,000 live viewers back in September of 2022. So they are almost down half. They also write this. Season 5 averaged a .09. I know it's a lot of numbers, y'all, but keep up with me, okay? They averaged Season 5 last season. It's hard to keep up with their seasons because they start mid-season like whenever, all right? So Season 5 averaged a .09 in the demo and 459,000 live viewers just a few months ago. And the trend for Season 6 has continued, with the highest rated episode in the overall viewers being episode 9 on June 6th, with a demo of 0.6 and 370,000 viewers. They write, like many other networks, OWN does not regularly release DVR or delayed viewing figures, and while it is possible the series is seeing gains once those numbers are included, the live ratings are still down season to season. So, I mean, I'm sure there were people comparing Bravo numbers versus OWN numbers, but here's the thing. It's not even about Bravo. It's about Carlos talking about Bravo, but what people are pointing out is that Carlos's numbers for his show are continuously dropping. And you are continuously saying what's wrong with everything that's going on over there when you're not talking about what's going on in your own house, under your own roof. But it is OWN's #1 rated show. For whatever that means. For whatever that means. But since we're talking about Love and Marriage Huntsville ratings, let's talk about Monique. Monique Samuels announced, well, no, she didn't announce, People Magazine, but she didn't come out and say that it wasn't true. But People Magazine, who were the first back in October to write that Monique and Chris Samuels were getting a divorce. Well, they were the first to break the news yesterday to confirm that she has filed for a divorce. They wrote this yesterday. Not yesterday, the day before yesterday. Monique Samuels has filed legally to end her marriage to Chris Samuels. But if you watched any of their social media, I already knew. I was just waiting for them to drop the news, because there was a lot of social media activity where I did not see Chris with her or her with Chris. And then as soon as Chris unfollowed her that day, this is when the news broke. So according to People Magazine, the Montgomery County Family Court confirmed to People on Tuesday that the Real Housewives of Potomac star, who's 39 years old, has officially filed for divorce from the former NFL player who's 45 years old. Though Monique has filed a petition to seal the documents, the docket shows that she filed a complaint for an absolute divorce on April 14th. She then filed an amended complaint for an absolute divorce on June 15th. The former couple's divorce has yet to be finalized. However, Monique and Chris have a scheduled hearing yesterday. So no update in regards to what that is. And I don't believe Monique has even spoken out about this. Any sort of statement, a group statement, but I did find it interesting that Chris unfollowed her on social media and he unfollowed her company, Not for Lazy Moms, on Instagram. A lot of you saw the cracks in their relationship on Love and Marriage DC, and you may recall when we reported back in October that they were separated, and we heard Ashley Darby talk about it during BravoCon. She then did a YouTube live with Chris denying it. She's like, well, People Magazine is running with this story, and it's not true. And then people speculated that did she fish the story to Ashley to be sort of a deal situation for her Love and Marriage DC position. This is what people were speculating. I'm not saying that it was true, but people were speculating that she was using this whole situation, the separation situation, to get more money out of OWN and for Love and Marriage DC. And she confirmed the reason why she did not return to Love and Marriage DC was because of contract issues. What do you believe? What do you believe? All right. I have a lot to talk about. Did I cover everything that I wanted to talk about? No, I still have my John Fuda situation to talk about. Guys, if you haven't already, be sure to like the video. And let me see what this poll. Ooh, with almost 400 votes, guys, you rated Real Housewives of Orange County between 4 and 6 this episode this week. The same on my TikTok as well. 50% of you voted between 4 and 6 this week. Damn. I guess they misjudged the return of Tamara, huh? Ew. Look, ew. All right. All right. Let's get into some Real Housewives of New Jersey news, okay? So I know. Look, I wanted a break from the Real Housewives of New Jersey, but I said since I'm doing Thirsty Thursdays, we could probably do some Real Housewives of New Jersey news because there's been a lot that's come out. And look, when we talked about John Fuda and his evidence, a lot of people were saying, well, it's easy for a reporter to find out and get information about an inmate. If you don't know the story behind John Fuda's baby mama, we did a whole video talking about that. And if you missed any of our Real Housewives of New Jersey recaps, we talk about it then too. So a lot of people were saying, John, you're ridiculous. Louis did not have to go anywhere to get this information. Anyone could look up the information about your baby mama. Okay? And look, I always laugh at this name. This this Twitter account, Melissa's Old Nose. I can't. I laugh every time I see this name. So apparently they reached out because the fans are very invested. They reached out to the Daily Mail writer of the article about John Fuda's ex being locked up and her history and things like that. And even the ex is speaking out saying all kinds of stuff. Anyways, so they emailed her. And this is what, hold on, let me see if I can get, hold on, y'all. Hold on. I want to be able to, here we go. Because we always cite our sources. No matter the source, we're always citing our sources. All right, so let me just bring this up so you guys can see what I'm looking at. All right. And guys, if you haven't already, be sure to like this video. It's an easy and free way of supporting the channel. All right. Hold on. Let me just bring this up here. Here we go. All right. Because I know some of you are like, oh, you don't talk about all the, well, I can't, first of all, I can't cover everything. Okay. I'm only one person. This is not the CNN that y'all think it is. Like we aspire. However, we are not. So they posted this on their social media. Oh no, this was the Sun. Sorry, not the Daily Mail, the Sun. Okay. And they reached out. They reached out to the writers. Okay, so you can see the exchange. I'm just going to go to the last part of this exchange with Diana Cooper, who is the writer at a senior exclusive reporter writer. Okay, so they reached out to this reporter to find out did Luis Ruelas fish you this story and this information. So she responds and says, sorry, I was on a long flight today. Media has access to a portal. We look up people and you were found as a relative acquaintance of John, and then court docs confirmed it wasn't Louis. Brittany, the baby mama, reached out to them. All right. But we all knew this. I think we all knew this. However, what we wanted to know, what proof did John have in that yellow envelope that was huge? Well, in an interview in an interview with Bravo Bros, John talks about he doesn't tell us exactly what's in it, but he says he thinks that Bravo might use it later, but because he does talk about it later on backstage, what's in the envelope. So he's saying that he's not accusing Luis necessarily of being the one, or he's not only accusing of that, he's accusing Luis of a smear campaign against him and his wife. But I want to play a couple of clips for you guys from this interview. All right? Let me play a couple of clips of this. And you can go listen to the full Bravo Bros interview with John Fuda, okay, when you get a chance. All right? So let me play a couple of clips because I took some notes. You know me and my notes. Took a little notes. This is what I had. I'm trying to run errands and do what I got to do today, and I'm listening to them talk about this when I thought we were done with Jersey. All right, so let me go to the 13. Hold on. Okay. Hold on. So during this, he talked about the Luis smear campaign. All right, so I'm going to play this for you guys.
Shouldn't care about the environment. We're going to get hit by a comment.
No, it's not.
And everything's over.
No.
I don't think.
Sorry, wrong podcast.
Right?
Okay, hold on. Let me cue this up. Guys, keep liking the video if you haven't already. All right, we're about to talk about this John Fuda interview that he did with the Bravo Bros, where he's talking about what was in the envelope, about changing his name, those things, and the alleged Luis campaign against him and some of the other cast members. All right, so let me play this for you guys.
Completely behind you, just popping off. And even at the end, when he comes over and does that fake apology and he's like trying to be buddy with everybody, it's like, no, like you don't get to just do something like this, deny it, and then move on and say, hey man, let's just take a shot. Like, no, that's not really how that's supposed to play.
My issue with that was when you walked over to RHOC Reunion, I don't need you to tell my wife she's doing a good job. It's not your position or place in life to walk over to her and tell her she's doing a good job. That's not your place. So I wanted to correct that. And then, you know, with me, I just don't sit here and shake my hand if I feel that this is what's happening. I mean, you should be trying to, if you're a bro or a guy, right, you should be trying to convince me that, listen, this is not what's happening, guys.
Right.
Like maybe your information's mixed up. Let's talk about it. Let me help you unmix it up instead of getting so defensive and red and about it and, you know, putting out threats.
Not red.
That's not going to make you react well.
How red does he get in real life? Like, this is the
Red,
my
man.
maroon shirt is the
That's a great
comparison.
question to ask. You know, it's a, how red can someone actually get? I would
Yeah,
say he's
how-
just as red as your shirt there.
This is actually a pretty close color, I think, now that I'm looking at it. I think this is like Louis red, Louis maroon. That's what we're going to call this from now on. Really
When we were
colors.
doing the final episode, I was like looking, I was like, oh, he's red. He's just so angry.
Oh, at the party?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, he was like off his rails at that party. Like, what the fuck happened there? Like, how did that get so out of hand? Is that just because of the Danielle conversation, or did Louis come in just like ready to go?
My opinion is he came in a little ready to go. He said hello to me twice for some odd reason that day.
Not
You know, he
twice.
walked in, said hello, did a loop around, and came back and said hello.
He looked extra ready to go, if you know what I mean.
He sure did. He sure did. Well, there was also a weird statement from Luis to John Fuda. So let me play that as well. Hold on. Let me move this up a little bit.
So it has been revealed. We just didn't get to see it.
There is a part backstage where
Come here, little Ray.
And I'm the young guy. I'm just sitting back cool, like, okay, yeah. I mean, what
Make the big.
Wait, hold on. Let me play this for you guys. Hold on.
He looked extra ready to go, if you know what I mean.
One of the greatest lines that day I'll never forget is Louis pointed at the city and told me he'll teach me how to make real money. I'll never forget that.
Pointed at New York?
He pointed, yeah, because Pauly's rooftop, you can see Manhattan. He said, "See that city? I'll teach you how to make real money." I was like, "Oh, I don't know what
hate
it means,
I
man.
can't.
It's one of the greatest lines of the night for me, though.
Oh my
Look at
God.
that city, John. I'll teach you how to make the big bucks one day, kid. You just
It's like a
That's
scene.
right,
It's like
man.
out of Goodfellas. It's like early on when like early on in the movie Goodfellas is like, I'll teach you how to make money. You see that city?
Yeah.
That's where you're gonna be.
Yeah,
Come here, little
exactly.
Ray.
And I'm the young guy. I'm just sitting back, cool, like, okay, yeah. I mean, what am I gonna say? Like, yeah, sure, teach me.
Oh my God, what an idiot.
Can you share what was in the envelope?
Production, the network, they know it's in the envelope. It was filmed. And I guess stay tuned because if they choose to release it or however they release it, it's at their mercy.
Oh, so it has been revealed. We just didn't get to see it.
There is a part backstage where some of it was revealed.
Wow. Yeah, we always see those envelopes and we always want to know every piece of information that's in those things. I mean, it looked like Marge had one. Obviously, you had one. We see them across pretty much all over the Bravoverse. So we're always curious to see what's in those envelopes because they pop up so often and it's just so funny. But
yeah,
go ahead.
The weird part is with these envelopes, right? Like you're on this set, right? It's my first time on this set, guys. I got this on. What am I gonna do? Like pull out every sheet and like sit there for 2-3 days? Like it's also really not
That's what
the
we
right
want.
setting, I guess. You would have to almost. It's just a weird setting. It's really not the place for it.
Here's the thing. What I would have said, they're probably not. I mean, they could air it in the future, but John, you could tell us now they didn't air it. We want to know what was in it because he's claiming that he has proof that there was a smear campaign that Louis was a part of. So I need to see the receipts. Apparently people are calling him the quote #1 guy in the group. I got that from this interview. Look, I love the moment between him and Louis at the reunion. However, I'm not going to sit here and say that he's the #1 guy in the group. What I will say after listening to this interview, I was like, well, I said there's no way that Joe Gorga could go because he really unifies the guys. He's the fun part of the guys. I see John Fuda having potential. I'm not saying that he hasn't yet. I can see him having the potential to be the Joe Gorga in regards to bringing the guys together to have a good time for television. And he literally says that in the interview. He says, I would like for all of us to kind of put all our issues to the side and just have a good time. That is what we feel like is missing. Just have a good time. Because he's like, when we're not filming, we have good times. Let's show more of that. Maybe. So in regards to the name change, I'm sure you probably see all of these things about the Real Housewives of New Jersey and the accusations that fly about him. Recently I saw someone talking about him getting arrested and his past being dark, and that's part of the reason why he changed his name, Fuda. He talked about that also in the interview as well. So let me play that for you guys. Hold on. And again, guys, be sure to like the video if you haven't already and subscribe to our Kempire Radio YouTube channel as well for the visual version of our podcast. And be sure to listen to the latest episode of the podcast, Kempire Radio, on your favorite podcast platform. So here is where he addresses the name change.
Like so-and-so is like going down to the station, like sucks.
Yeah.
We avoided it pretty much like all throughout high school. But when I was 13, I did get, I got in there. I do want to ask because we saw with Danielle and Fuda we call Rachel and you Fuda on our show because it's just an easier name to say. But
everybody
Rachel
loves
and
the
Danielle.
name Fuda
It's
my whole
easier
life,
than
by the way.
Rachel.
That's
good.
Yeah.
Since I was a kid, it's been Fuda. That's all I know. Hey, Fuda.
Well, I think it's because we're from the Northeast and we like do the same shit like with our friends that have certain names. You just call them by their it's just, inherently their last name is just what you refer to them as. So like Fuda just makes sense to me. We saw Danielle and Rachel get close in the beginning. They seemed to be the newbies. They were getting along. And then shit kind of went crazy because, you got Teresa involved, you got Marge involved, you got a lot of nonsense behind the scenes there. But where do they stand today? Like we saw at the reunion, they were going to kind of make peace and like come back together, or at least give it a shot. How are they today?
I mean, if we're around them, it's cordial. It's cordial. They're not best friends, but if we're around them, everything's cordial.
Yeah, because when we saw that in the beginning of the season, we got excited thinking that the newbies were going to gang up against the old guard and take them down. And we had all these pipe dreams laid out for seasons to come. I mean, we were pumped, honestly. Like, this is the first time.
Actually, yeah.
And this is credit to you and your wife. This is the first time in a long time that we've actually had newbies come into a show like this, something that's been around for so long, and actually do well. Like, Rachel handled herself so well in all these different situations, all this bullshit that came through. You handled yourself well. Like we said, Jersey is a premier husband show. And then even Danielle and I mean, Nate, we could use a little bit more from Nate, but he seems like more of a low key guy. But the two of them killed it. And we were so excited to see that because we've had so much of, you know, these women that have been on for years and years spewing the same nonsense over and over again. And we got tired of it. That we finally saw some fresh faces pop up and start to stir the pot in different ways. We were pumped about it. So you guys have to be excited about your future. You guys have to kind of look back at this season and be like, yeah, that was actually a lot of fun. Or do you look back at it and you're like, maybe we got to figure some shit out?
I mean, listen, it's definitely unique. It was definitely fun. It had its highs and lows, like I think a lot of things in life has, right? But listen, we had fun doing it. It's definitely an interesting experience.
And we got a bunch of questions from our listeners who are all very intrigued by this whole thing. So
wait, but while Seal's reading those, John, I got a question for you. I saw you in a Brooklyn Nets jersey. Are you a fan?
I do like the Nets. You know, that's an old picture. I do like them.
All right. Well,
I like Brooklyn.
How does it feel? How does it feel to go from a super team to
doing great, and then with them we make the best of it. That's just the type of guy I am. I'm really not the type of guy that's like, I don't like that guy. You know, it's not really my character.
I didn't get that. That's actually, I think, why when you reacted to Louis, it seemed we judge everything when we're watching, like reactions, if they seem genuine or not, if they're real, if someone's just trying to do it for airtime. Your response to him with how you handled yourself, because it wasn't over the top, but clearly you were upset. I think that is a big indicator for us of like a genuine moment where you're like, just dude, like what the fuck? Like if you want to talk to my wife and tell her she's doing a great job, like the least you can do is like shake my hand, and then you're walking away. It's like, this guy's a fucking snake. Like this is unbelievable. Like that, the whole interaction to me seemed 100% real, because I could see myself like with the same reaction. Like, dude, what the fuck? I would love to hear your perspective on Rachel's relationship with your son, and I would too. I think it's a pretty special thing.
So I am so lucky to have met Rachel at 23 years old. She stepped up to the plate and took Jaden in as if it was her own. She picked him up from school. She dropped him off. I mean, she attended school meetings. I mean, from day one, this girl has stepped in and earned her keep. She's got a great relationship with him now. I'll be honest, I think her relationship is sometimes better than mine with him. And I'm just being honest with everybody, you know. He has a relationship where he'll tell her different things that he won't tell me. They speak about a lot more than the things he'll speak to me about. Like, you know, to me, he's like a normal 16-year-old boy. He'll talk to me about going out, girls, this and that, but he won't talk to me about some of the other things he goes through in life. Where with her, he talks to her about everything. So I got to be honest, I think their relationship is amazing. I think it's better than mine. And I give her a lot of credit for what she's done.
Yeah, and I just saw one come across here. This is a funny one. I don't know if you've seen this movement since the reunion, but people are calling you the #1 guy in the group.
13 years, that's a long time that he's been doing this for, you know?
Yeah.
One hit just put him over the edge. You know, she's got a lot of designs going, so.
She knew what was going on. Maybe it's one of those things that she knows what's going on, but she's not there to actually.
They had a relationship with her, but she's been the most.
All right, we'll stop there. So, again, you can listen to the full interview on Bravo Bros podcast, but I wanted to highlight certain parts of it because a lot of you have been asking the question. A lot of you have been asking, Kemp, are you going to cover this? And I'm like, I'm done with Jersey. I don't want to talk about Jersey anymore. There's so many other things to be talking about. But since we're doing Thirsty Thursday, why not? Why not cover some of the stories that we don't get an opportunity to talk about, including when we cover and recap the Real Housewives of Orange County? He does address the accusations that he was arrested and all of that, and the reason why he changed his last. Well, he didn't change his last name. He said that he grew up assuming that his name was Fuda, and he still uses his actual, I guess, his father's last name as opposed to his middle last name. Okay. There we go. All right. Let's move on. I know you guys want to call in and share your thoughts. Was there anything else that I wanted to cover that I did not cover? I think that's it. Hold on. Let me drop the call in link on the community tab. If you are a member of the channel, Senior Royals, I'm dropping the call and link first for you. Hold on. All right. Okay, Senior Royals, I've dropped the call-in link for you. Royal Court members, I'm dropping the call-in link next for you. And Team Kempire members, I'm dropping the call-in link next for you. There we go. Ronnie says that number one guy is a stretch for him. Well, remember, he's responding to what people were saying he was responding to a question that people were calling him the number. That was the first time I ever heard that. I think people did respond to John Fuda and his reaction during reunion with his interaction with Louis. And that kind of made people like, oh, John Fuda. I wouldn't go as far as saying that he's the number one guy in the group. I wouldn't go that far. Justin, come on, behave yourselves. Behave yourselves in the chat. Let me say thank you. We did get a super chat from La Heathers. Thank you so much for the super chat. La Heather says, Shannon got filler in her face too much, actually. She started dissolving it last season or before. She looked much better without filler. Happy Pride. Yeah, she did. She openly talked about removing the filler from her face. I was talking about her voice. I don't believe filler changes your voice. Just wondering. Okay. Mr. Brown shaking. No, the number one guy thing is from Vanderpump Rules. But you know, the Bravo universe, they like to intertwine some of the information that happens. Okay. All right. Live chat, we're almost at 500 likes. Let's get to 500 likes and I'll drop the call and link for you guys. If you're a member of the channel, I have dropped the call and link on the community tab. So if you want to call in and share your thoughts, be sure to let us know. And thank you to Danielle for gifting 5 memberships. That was very generous of Danielle, one of our mods and one of our members who's been a member for a long time as well. Thank you, Danielle. That was very, very kind of you. All right. And guys, don't forget our Pride merch is now available at houseofkempire.com, or if you head on over to thekempire.com, everything Kempire, including our merch store, is available there. Our Pride merch is there, our Juneteenth merch, and some regular merch has been added as well. So be sure to check that out. Shout out to everyone watching on Twitch, Twitter, TikTok behind the scenes, and those of you that are watching on the Kempire and Kempire Daily on Facebook. We appreciate you guys. Thank you. Hold on. Let me just do this. All right, let me just double check my notes because, you know, sometimes I write all these notes down and I'm like, wait, I forgot to talk about this. All right, so we talked about that. Okay, I think we covered everything. Yeah, I think we did. Okay, all right. I'm glad to see that. All right, we're going to bring up Ronnie first. Hold on, Ronnie. Let me switch this out first, though. Let me go to our call. I don't know why it muted itself. There we go. Sorry, y'all. So ask your question again for everyone to hear.
So how far is Orange County from Los Angeles?
I don't know, but we can easily Google that. Hold on, let me Google that.
Because as a Lebanese person, I really don't know much about the distance, because literally when Heather was saying that she want to buy in LA, although they showed it on Selling Sunset that she bought a condo in LA, but like, I mean, if you're living in Orange County and it's not that far, why buy there? But yeah, anyways, I don't know.
I just Googled it. It's an hour by driving. It's an hour and 3 minutes. It's
Okay.
about 36 miles away, so it's not far. It's not far.
Yeah. And also for Tamra, she doesn't lose her orange.
Oh,
yeah. So
wait, say that last part again about Tamara.
So she's acting so much so she doesn't lose her orange, and she's like, I hated in the previous episode, the one when she was on the boat, and like, she's not being real.
Yeah,
she's not being real.
It's forced.
And the most person I can relate to is Shannon. Her name is Shannon, right?
Yes, Shannon.
Yeah, because I love my crystals, and the scene in the crystals is so good, but I can't take it that far to put them in my teeth. No way.
Me either. I agree with that. Anything else, Ronnie? How would you rate the episode from 1 to 10?
I would rate it a good 5.56.
Oh.
Yeah. Not like the most thing that I liked about the episode is playing with the king. Because it was so funny when Tamra was running after Shannon. That was funny, but other than that, it was like not much.
Not much. Oh, womp womp
Yeah.
womp. All right, Ronnie, thank you so much for calling in.
Thank you so much.
Take care.
Have a great day. Bye bye.
You too. Bye bye. All right. Guys, I did drop the call-in link for the general audience. Again, keep liking the videos. An easy and free way of supporting the channel. I apologize. Look, every once in a while, we're doing a live show. Sometimes when you switch from things to things get muted, but we appreciate you all being patient with us. Eventually, we find the sound. I will see you guys saying, no sound, no sound. Here we are, okay? We're going to bring up LS next. Hold on. LS, what's going on? You're muted, LS. I can't hear you. Ellis.
Hi.
Hey,
can you
how
hear
are you?
me?
Yes, now I can. What's going on? Uh-oh. Ellis,
Hi.
I think there might be a delay. Do me a favor, drop out and call back in, because there is a delay, and that's going to be hard for us to communicate. Okay. All right, let me see what you guys are saying in the chat. Excuse me. Miss Brown Sugar says, it's not unheard of for wealthy families to have an LA apartment and their OC primary home. Of course, the apartment is often a cover for a mistress or some other shenanigans. Elsie says that it takes about two plus hours in traffic. Everything takes forever. Well, then there's that. There's LA traffic. There's California traffic. So it could be, it probably could take a little bit long. But I never had that question before. So I never thought about it. It's like, how far is it really? But in reality, it's not far. But with traffic, it is pretty far. Chocolate Chunk says, Shannon having crystals in her teeth, but still surrounded by bad energy proves crystals don't work. Come on. You know what? Let me try this again. Ellis, I'm going to try you again. What's going on, Ellis? You're muted. Unmute. Let's see if this works. Ellis? No, I think there's still a delay. It's okay. It's all right. All right, guys, I'm going to round this out because it is about that time, and we covered a lot. We spoke about a lot. I appreciate you all taking time out of your evening, afternoon, morning to be with us for our Thirsty Thursday, where we covered a variety of pop culture news and, of course, not pop culture news, reality TV news, and the Real Housewives of Orange County. Replay crew, as always, we want to know your thoughts on the latest episode of Orange County, your thoughts on anything that we talked about, from Monique Samuels' divorce to Ramona Singer's daughter complaining about not getting financial jobs, to the John Fuda interview. Be sure to let us know your thoughts on any of it all. Thank you to everyone that sent in a super chat. Thank you to everyone that was a part of the conversation in the live chat. Thank you to our members of the channel. Thank you to Danielle for gifting 5 memberships today. And thank you to our King's Guards. We could not do this without them. I will see you guys in the next video. Like the video, and I will see you guys later. Bye, y'all.
little bit tongue-tied. Ooh, you bring the lighter, I got the fuse.